that's the whole point, is to make it friction free to become a property owner or landlord or offsite. Even if you leave the place, and that's the biggest worry, you kind of relieve that for the investor, really, at the end of the day. So it's amazing that you're part of this, and hopefully you're learning a lot. What's next? What's next for us? What's next for you? Look, I get it. The Toronto real estate market is confusing. Whether you're a new or experienced investor or just looking for a home to raise your family in, join us at Broadview Table Talks as we sit around the table with my friends and talk about the real estate and the ever-changing market in Toronto. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Broadview Table Talks. Today we got a special guest. It's a special one. We got Michael Lang, of course, joining me, but we also have Kayla Clark from Thriving Property Management. That's our in-house property management. A lot of our clients are overseas and actually even in town, but they're just too busy to manage their own properties, right? So we have a lot of landlord clients. So today I just want to talk a little bit about what you're seeing out there and what's happening as well.
So what do you do? What do you do for landlords?
So we basically handle everything from, finding them new tenants, screening the tenants, any maintenance requests, collecting the rent, chasing them for late rent, any turnover with the property, any renovations that need to be done, hiring contractors. So there's a lot of moving parts all the time. It never stops, but it keeps it fun. Like every day there's something different to do. So I really love it.
We couldn't do any of this without you and without Carl. Carl's amazing, by the way. So watch out. Shout out to Carl if you're watching. Carl. Yeah, what's up? But more so the systems that we have, right? The systems that we implemented over the years, the software, the checklists, the Notion, the things we have there, right? Like the calendars, all that stuff matters, and it keeps us on point. Because how many properties we got now?
We're at like 170 right now.
For context, 170 units. That's 170 tenants to deal with, and 170 landlords.
Yes.
And if they have couples, and it's even more, right?
Spread out across the city.
Right. And then there's also trades that always, sometimes get too busy, they're not available anymore. They got hurt, injured. One of the roofers got hurt, right? Yeah. So things like that. And then we got to deal with, checking the rent, counting for rent, making sure it's all paid on time and everyone's happy. It's a tough job. There's a lot going on.
Meeting new tenants and actually giving them the keys and making sure that everything goes smoothly
Exchange.
When they move in, and then making sure that we get keys back when they move out. Yeah, a lot on your plate.
Okay, so let's talk about two things today. Let's talk about managing tenants and then managing landlords. So what have you been doing? First of all, let's start with the easy one, tenants. So what kind of requests do you see all the time? Like what's a normal typical day in your day?
So I always get requests about, things breaking down, like appliances not working, or maybe there's a plumbing issue happening in the unit. It's different every day, honestly, but we try to minimize the maintenance requests as much as possible by doing our inspections and checking up on things and just performing regular maintenance on these units. So that's just something that's part of our system.
So you're scheduling with the tenants to come in there every quarter, every half year, every periodic time, right? Just
periodically, yeah. I don't know, can I say that we're still working on our systems?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. Everything's always constantly evolving. We're still currently adding things. And as things come up, you're going to add it to the system, revise it, and then it's going to be started your standard operating procedure, right? It's part of the checklist of everything that you do every day, right?
And the business is scalable, too.
Right. That's no different than any other business out there, right? So in order to scale, yeah, exactly what we have to do, just constantly reinvent systems. So there's no apologies or no, embarrassment about having to create new systems all the time. That's what we do. That's how we evolve, right? At least we have somebody or two people dedicated to this thing full time, which is a beast.
Yep.
Yeah, we're constantly having to adapt, especially because we have all kinds of properties that we manage. It's not just condos or houses. It's everything, like multiplexes, houses, condos. So
no commercial, just all residential though, right?
Yeah, all residential.
What's your favorite so far out of all the asset types?
I think condos are the easiest to manage.
Of course.
Just because they have their own property management office.
So common area building property management for on-site. Most of the times they're large buildings, so they have on-site property management.
Yeah.
And they're there to deal with the large things like exterior common elements, right? Like roofs and things like that, right? Hallways, leaks.
It makes it easier on our end for sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I also enjoy managing multiplex units as well. I think that's been very rewarding too. I've been learning a lot just from managing those. And we have the best clients too. They're really nice and patient, so it helps me learn and grow with them.
So shout out to the tenants, that's for sure. I guess the other thing is so our value for condos, or your value, I guess, is to basically make sure the rent's paid. You're communicating with them all the time and fixing things and making sure things don't get unnoticed, right? Because if you're a busy landlord and you're a tenant, you want something fixed, that landlord's not going to get back to you because they're busy and just maybe don't care as much, right? So you're there to push the issue to the landlord so that it's front and center so it gets done, right? Because that's what the definition of a slumlord is, right? What is it? Have you ever come across any slumlords in our business? I was calling any of our clients or anything, but
no, not I wouldn't say our clients. No.
Good. But there's a lot of landlords out there that refuse to fix things because they're just cheap.
Maybe like the property we inherited, the landlords before.
Oh yeah. That's kind of a messy one. Okay. Well, speaking of that, how do you manage landlords?
How do I manage landlords? Basically, I just try to over communicate and keep them informed on everything that's going on as much as possible. So just constantly keeping them up to date on what's going on with the unit, especially at the time of, the lease starting and the lease ending. If they want to handle any renewals, any rent increases, dealing with key exchanges. So, and just the transition period in general from, having one tenant move out and then possibly having to renovate or do any repairs. So yeah, we're in constant communication with the landlords.
Awesome. So for the most part, we're hired by the landlords, not by the tenants. So our duty is to the landlords, but also we have to be fair to the tenants to make sure that the place is maintained and they get what they need and have a safe place to live, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes landlords come in and ask for illegal rent increases though, right? And they don't know the rules about that. That's what I mean by managing landlords. Like what are you doing to teach them the expectations and all that and what the rules are?
I try to provide resources as much as possible. It's one thing to just tell them, but if you have proof from, the landlord and tenant board's website and things like that. So
yeah, ultimately it's their decision at the end of the day, right? But you're just arming them with the facts of what to do. Yeah. And if they choose to do things that are not so legal, then, you show them the consequences, right? So thankfully, we've been able to avoid any kind of complaints from tenants going to the landlord and tenant board because of your assistance and showing them what the rules are and what you can and can't do. Because a lot of people don't know.
We try to guide them in the right direction because, there's some times where they're very adamant about doing things that they probably shouldn't. So we just try to guide them the other way.
Sure.
The legal route.
Because those rules are put in place for a reason. Yeah. Because, at the end of the day, I think landlords are the one in power, right? Like compared to, they generally have a higher net worth than the tenants do. So they are able to absorb those increases in costs and things like that. Not saying they should, because the tenants are the one living there, but at least they have more resources, I guess you could say, right? So I think that the landlords can easily take advantage of the tenants, where it's harder the other way around, right? So that's why those rules are put in place, I think.
For sure.
I know it's kind of controversial, but that's how I think about it anyway, as a landlord myself, right? Yeah. So, okay. Well, what about the projects that you're working on? Because that's taking a lot of your time too. Like, what are some of the crazy projects you've had to do with?
Oh man.
Flood, mold, repairs,
all of the above. Yeah.
Get this lockbox from Vaughn.
Had a couple floods to deal with. We've had to deal with a tenant with mental illness. We've had to deal with causing disturbances to other residents in the building. Mm-hmm. We've had to deal with people's roofs being completely destroyed or deteriorated, I should say. Just a lot of mold.
Yeah.
A lot of plumbing leaks. I would say those are probably the biggest issues that we've had to deal with.
And what's your favorite part about the job?
That's a hard one.
What do you get most rewarded out of? What do you like?
I like the satisfaction that comes at the end when you've resolved everything and, the tenant's happy, the landlord's happy, and, you've done your job, contractor's been paid, and you can just kind of clear that
and nobody thanks you.
And no one thanks you. It's a thankless job, for sure.
But it's good that you're learning these skills, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's only going to help me when I become a homeowner too. I'm learning so much already. I've only been in it a year, and I feel like I have so much knowledge already before even owning a home.
That's awesome. That was a goal anyway. So I also got a lot of feedback from a lot of our clients as well too. They say you're amazing, And so
Thank you.
that's
Guys?
yeah. So that's great for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Why do clients need you? Why do clients need property management? And which clients don't need property management?
I mean, I guess it would just depend on, their day to day. But I would say, for heavy investors, like clients who have a lot of investment properties, I would say it would be advantageous for them to have a property manager because it takes so much time. It's really a full-time, like 24/7 job. Even outside of office hours, we're still working.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. By the
Of
way, but
course.
thank you.
No, it needs to be done. And I can't see the average person having the time to do that. Plus, their day-to-day work and possibly if they have kids to deal with as well and a spouse. It's just a lot to deal with. So
Suppose there's a lot to deal with. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it's not that one isolated incident like that. Sorry, if you have one property, it's not going to take a full-time job to do that.
right.
For you, over scaled over 170 properties, it will obviously be multiple people's full-time jobs. But the thing is, if that one issue comes up, it takes so much time. Like imagine whatever happened at that, with the roof leak and all that, right? And the flooding on the side of the house.
Yeah. They don't schedule what time it's going to flood. It's just going to happen whenever.
Yeah.
And you got to deal with it quickly.
Yeah,
And you
that
gotta
one
deal
actually happened at midnight, I think.
Disaster recovery, and you got to deal with mold repairs and
Yeah.
all kind of all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So who wouldn't need you? I guess.
I guess someone who just has the time
Mm-hmm.
and the resources to deal with it. Maybe somebody who's familiar with construction and, has some contractors in their network and is just more hands-on with things. But I think for the average person, a property manager is pretty advantageous.
Yeah, and our costs aren't that high either, right? So I think it kind of makes sense. Like that's the whole point, is to make it friction-free to become a property owner or landlord or offsite. Even if you leave the place, and that's the biggest worry, you kind of relieve that for the investor, really, at the end of the day. So it's amazing that you're part of this, and hopefully you're learning a lot. What's next? What's next for us? What's next for you? Where do you want to take this? Yeah, what are we doing?
I want to really grow this division. We are a division of Broadview Avenue Group. But
Separate entity though, but yeah.
separate entity. But I'd really like to scale, get a lot more units under our portfolio, hire some more staff, eventually have our own maintenance division, have our social media marketing just as good as Broadview's, maybe better. We'll see.
That means you got to be in front of the camera.
Or we can get Carl. We can do something virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about where we're
Software
heading.
systems.
Software systems. We're switching over to new software very soon. So that's very exciting. I feel like that's going to help us a lot with our standard operating procedures. So, yeah, I think we're on the right track right now.
Cool. So, Michael, why aren't you investing
Oh,
into real estate?
I just had a new baby, so I'm not ready.
Yeah. But
there's
when
too
you
much to
do,
think of.
what would you do? Okay, I shouldn't say that. So what are your clients? Have you told any of your clients about investing into real estate, and have they had any hesitations about it?
So the clients I work with right now, they're mostly just trying to get their foot in the door in the markets.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones who are buying, they're buying primarily for them to reside in for now. And we are having that talk with people about, eventually building that nest egg and taking that equity out and putting it towards investments. So far, the investment clients that I do have in my portfolio, they're actually retired or semi-retired, so they have the time to manage themselves. They're also in condos, so it's a little bit easier for them to manage. They just have to deal with maybe a broken appliance or some painting. It hasn't reached the point where they feel it necessary to hire a property manager yet, but that's definitely something that they should consider eventually when they lack the energy or the time to deal with it themselves.
Sure.
And I know if when I eventually do actually get my foot in the investment door, I'm not able to deal with that myself, and that's where I'm gonna rely on you guys to come in, because I have a full-time job to dedicate my attention to, and that's where I see the value. It's time.
Yeah.
It's the freedom of time.
Yep. Absolutely. Kayla, what do you think we can improve on? I know there's a lot. Just name a couple.
A couple things. I want to just standardize our maintenance calendar. Right now, we're very reactionary to what comes in as far as requests go, but I really want to get ahead of it and get on top of it so that, we have, inspections scheduled out for the year ahead, and we have just ongoing maintenance services happening at all times.
Awesome.
Maybe that's like not the right thing to say.
No, it's perfect. It's like I said, it's always an improvement of systems, right? So we're just constantly working at it.
Yeah.
If someone is watching this and wants to get into the industry and wants to join our team, perhaps, what are we looking for next to hire?
Someone who can definitely take the heat because, like we said, this is a thankless job.
Yeah. Well, we thank you.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. No, you guys are the best.
And
you
your
guys are the
thick
best
skin.
team.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because of all your teasing. That's why.
We try to keep it lighthearted.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, what are you looking for in the next hire?
Probably someone who can complement my skills. So it's just someone who's more hands-on. Someone who is okay with being out there in the field, going to all the different properties, and just actually maybe handling a few repairs on their own instead of us having to call, third-party contractors to get things done.
True.
They definitely have to be organized and follow their calendar. We all live by our calendar here. And just someone with, the willingness to learn and just grow the company with us.
Cool.
Basically.
So like a maintenance division, that'd be great. Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, with that, thanks for watching. We got to get Carl into Toronto. That's what we got to do, first of all. We got to get him here. So, but anyway, aside from that, thanks for watching. Hopefully, if you have any questions about property management, reach out to Kayla. She's happy to answer anything that you have, and if there's a need and a fit for our services. Thanks for watching.
Add it up.